We need to abolish all copyright laws and concepts of intellectual property. That is a stance that I am personally very passionate about. Intellectual properties, or IPs, are, I quote, property that derives from the effort of the mind or intellect. Speak movies, literature, music, but also engineering and designs in the form of patents. IPs are everywhere. They are a socially established norm that ensures that those who work creatively can monetize their work. If I invent a mechanism, I can patent it, and somebody else can't just take my idea, copy it, and then sell it themselves. It makes sure that those who work creatively have financial stability. IP laws have helped create a large chunk of the achievements that we are currently all enjoying, and they may have been necessary for the process. In an environment where governments are competing internationally and businesses are competing in a market economy, these laws are essential to make the progress happen. Simply put, we wouldn't be here without IP laws. But I think that in a more and more globalized world, we don't want IP laws anymore. Their use is fading away. Now we want to share stories that our ancestors have created. We want to modify them and improve and develop them. Same goes for technological advancements. We could all benefit from opening up the medical field, education, nature preservation, and loosening IP laws, or as I want to completely abolish them, would help give resources to those in need, to less privileged groups. Big corporations are acting in bad faith, and it has been getting worse and worse in recent years. And there are so many examples. Let's take the medical field. Medical treatments are being actively held back by Big Pharma. High prices for certain treatments or machines are skyrocketing just so that some shareholder can buy his $5th million mansion. One of the most commonly brought up examples is insulin, milking hundreds of US dollars out of patients who don't have a choice but to go to that one provider that holds the patents to produce their treatment. Same goes for certain life-saving vaccines that are patented in the name of profit and not the name of public health. Did you know that teachers are not allowed to use copyrighted material freely in their classes? Why would you allow your education and the education of your children to be artificially compromised when there are literally hundreds of millions of books, audio guides, movies, and images for any given topic you can think of? Why do those aiming for higher education have to sign up for a university just to use their library licenses, accumulating tens and tens of thousands in debt? Luckily, I study in a country where there are no student fees, so I get off pretty easily. But still, my university's library is limited, and we deserve better. We deserve access to every resource we can get. Another example, do you remember Sony trying to trademark the term Let's Play back in 2015? Trying to sneakily acquire a monopoly on a term that the gaming community has dearly created in the early 2010s. There is no excuse for this kind of behavior. A most recent example is the case of Nintendo versus Palworld, where after Palworld was released, Nintendo was registering patents that Nintendo is now retroactively trying to sue Palworld for. There is a quote my favorite streamer likes to use to describe Nintendo: "The only thing worse than an old white man in a suit is an old Japanese man in a suit." And Nintendo sadly is reinforcing the stereotype every time they take this kind of action and try to abuse laws that are supposed to protect those creative. The legal case is still going on, and I obviously hope for the best outcome. But I think that from these examples, the one thing you should remember is that if you try to protect these companies, you are not protecting your friends. You are protecting companies that would eat you alive if it would grant them some profit. And all those issues for what? While currently legal, I don't think that there's any moral problem with sharing information and data. Do you remember this old anti-piracy campaign that claims you wouldn't download a car? Well, that one aged horribly. Now with 3D printing technology advancing every single day, I can say yes, I absolutely would download a car if I could. You cannot equate copying and distributing data to stealing. If I download a music album, then the lives of the band that have published this music album is not getting worse in any way. I have not taken away anything. Those are simply separate things, and we have been successfully trained, brainwashed, to confuse them for one another. You might ask yourself what a world without IPs would look like. Is there no competition anymore? No incentive to be creative? I don't believe that at all. If we think about it, the modern entrepreneur, a lot of the time, is bringing nothing more to the table but the brevity of taking a financial risk in the form of an investment. And this leads to some companies' CEOs earning 150 times or more than their lowest paid employee. Everybody knows the stereotype. Rich dude in a suit, in a new German car, and then on the other hand, the cleaning lady that can barely feed her children and has to use public transport. In no world is that fair. By removing intellectual property out of the equation, this takes money from these gamblers away and puts more focus on those that actually matter. Those in manufacturing, those that are hands-on in the process. And then maybe the cleaning lady can even buy her own car one day. But what about the damage this does to the artist's industry? Let's be real for a second. The Mona Lisa wasn't created on a $200 million budget. Art will not suffer. Art will be fine. Art does not require the fences of copyright laws and the promises of big budget AAA productions to thrive. The best example for this is YouTube. YouTube got so big because people got annoyed and bored by AAA TV productions. They wanted a more authentic experience. Artists will always find a way to express themselves. If anything, we would see a renaissance of authentic indie productions. Also, look at these. Everybody has a fully capable filmmaking kit in their pocket. The quality of phones in the last, especially 5 years, has been so good that everybody can afford one of these. There is absolutely no need for big budget productions once you are truly creative. Abolitions of concepts of intellectual property would lead to better medical treatments, fairer markets, and finally put the people above corporations in the eyes of the government. Big corporations would stop strategizing about gatekeeping patents, but instead focus on actually manufacturing and distributing the best quality goods. And I think that is a great thing. Let me know your opinions in the comments. I know that this is a very controversial stance to have, and I'm super interested to discuss with you.